Hey guys, so I'm doing a very casual video today. I was sent a question recently. Somebody said, Michelle, can you just give me some tips? Some tips if I'm still recovering from complex PTSD or narcissistic abuse. What are some things I should think about before I go into the dating world again? So this is not an all-inclusive list. It's just a few things that kind of popped into my head. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to say was really be honest with where you're at on healing your triggers. In other words, whenever we're triggered, a trigger is really our body telling us that something from the past is still unresolved, right? So I think sometimes people get into the habit of wanting to try to make sure nobody triggers them, but that's not really healing the wound, right? That's like if I have a broken arm and I'm out in public and I'm trying to make sure nobody brushes up against me. Well, I mean, eventually people are going to knock into me and, I'm going to feel the pain of that wound. It would be so much smarter if I just went and got the wound healed, get the bone set, get it in a cast, and then I don't have to worry about anyone getting too close because my wound is healed, right? So we kind of have to do that with our triggers, because if you don't, then they will come up in the relationship. Now, I'm going to give a personal example of how I face that at different points in my life. So, for example, at one point in my life, just being in the car, sitting in the passenger seat was a trigger for me. And it was a trigger because if you've seen my old videos, I've done videos on how toxic people tend to use the car as a place to abuse, right? Because you're stuck in the car, you can't go anywhere. So going any place, to a social event or any place, on the way to that event was always a nightmare. And then I would have to get out at that event and, it was really hard. So I didn't realize how much of a trigger it was until I was in a relationship after, and I'm sitting in the car and I would detach. So my trauma response was freeze. Just being in the passenger seat, I would freeze and disconnect. Okay? Now, that didn't have detrimental consequences when I was dating, but if my trauma response had been fight, which oftentimes it can be when somebody has been in the fawn position for a long time, where they're trying to appease and trying to please for so long that it causes so much pain and hurt, they can fling over into the fight response, right? So if my trauma response had been fight, what would have happened was I would snap at the person. I would have said something and some kind of drama would have happened. And the truth is, it wasn't because of anything he had done, it was because I was being triggered. So I hope you can see how not healing triggers can be dangerous to a new relationship, because you're going to respond from your trauma response as if that's the person that caused the wound, and it's not. Okay, so my first advice to anybody that is contemplating getting in a relationship again is to really think about your triggers. Are you still highly triggered? Is it easy, for you to get triggered? And then simply take time to do the work to heal those wounds. Once you heal them, you don't have to worry about them. Okay, so that's the first thing that I would say. The second thing is, what was the second thing? Yes, okay. The second thing is if you have not healed your wounds, right? If you still have core wounds, which means a core wound is a wound that has caused you to have a very disempowering belief about yourself. Like, I'm not good enough, or, I'm not lovable, or I'm worthless, or I'm not, valuable unless somebody else sees value in me. Any core wound that has altered and punctured your value in your own eyes, okay? If that is still hurting and you have not healed that wound, then you're going to go out into the dating world And I know a lot of people that they have memorized a list of red flags of narcissists. But guess what? If you have a core wound that you haven't healed, right? Let's call it a shame wound, okay? And the malignant narcissist, the covert narcissist, who is an expert manipulator, they'll be able to spot that. And so what they will do is they will start to love bomb you. And on a logical sense, I know right now you're probably thinking, Michelle, but I know love bombing is a red flag. I wouldn't fall for it. Well, when they're love bombing you and it touches on your wound, in other words, they start to kind of heal your wound with their love bombing, you're going to have an emotional flashback when they start pulling away. And instead of acting from a logical place, which would be telling yourself, this person's toxic, I'm glad they're leaving, this is not good for me, you're going to chase them. Because when you have an emotional flashback, your logical side of your brain just checks out, okay? There's nothing, it turns off, short circuits, whatever you want to call it. You're not going to have access to everything you have memorized, and you're going to react from that wounded place, which means that you could potentially fall for somebody just as bad as the narcissistic relationship that you left, or worse. And I hear that all the time. Okay, people go from an overt narcissist to a covert narcissist to a psychopath because the wound is still there and they know how to penetrate that. So the second tip is you really have to take time to heal the wound. And that's not something that goes away overnight, okay? The third thing that I wanted to mention, if you don't fall for somebody that's toxic like a narcissist, you might attract somebody very codependent that wants to save you. This is the other thing I see a lot of. So you're needing help to recover, right? And instead of doing the work alone, if you go into a relationship, it's almost like you're getting the help to heal through the relationship. And I know a lot of people tell me, Michelle, what's so bad about that? If the person, wants to help me and the person is loving and kind, isn't that a good thing? Well, it can be a good thing if that other person is a secure or has a secure attachment style. But if that other person has a codependent or anxious attachment style where, they're fueling their own value by helping you, what can happen? And again, I'm just giving you guys scenarios. In the end, what you do is up to you. But what could happen is that you start to get better. You're working through your triggers, you're working through the emotional pain. This person is there for you. So if you still have some core wounds that you're not enough unless you're in a relationship, then that's going to be feeling good for you. But you're going to get stronger and stronger. And then, the challenge is that when you first started with that person, you weren't really you. Okay? When you're healing through emotional trauma, it's almost like you're living life through your protective self. That's not who you really are. And as you get to your real self, your authentic self, and you don't need to be saved anymore, then how you see the person that you're in a relationship with might change. You're a different person, but they may not have done the inner work to strengthen their wounds, and the dynamics may get really uncomfortable, and it's just something to think about, okay? So everyone in the end is going to make their own choice, right? And everyone knows themselves the best. So you're going to have to do what you feel is best for you, but I hope those tips help, because I know that when people are in relationships with narcissists, they feel like they wasted a lot of their life, a lot of their years, many decades for some, right? So the last thing you want to do is spend years where you look back and say, why didn't I just let myself, heal a little bit more before making big or huge, decisions. So anyway, I hope this video helped, and I hope it answered the question of the subscriber that sent it in.